Whoa, 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 cut the intro. We don't have time for that. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. It might come as a bit of a surprise that I'm doing a maths video, but it's because while watching Classroom of the Elite, which is a pretty good anime, I think you should watch it, I noticed that in one of the test papers they are given during Paper Shuffle, where Class C gives Class D a paper, I noticed one of the questions in it, and it looked like a pretty solvable maths question, so I wanted to try it out for myself. And upon trying it, I did manage to actually get some proper working answers, so I want to share that with you today on how to calculate it. So the question that Class C gives Class D is as follows. It goes 4a squared minus 4a plus 1 plus the absolute value of a plus 4 is equal to a plus 7. This is the question. Now, when starting with something and you see a absolute value, you should try and keep the absolute value on one side all by itself and everything else on the other side. So as you can see, we can just leave this on the left side, a plus 4, and move this over to this side by making it negative. So then you get e is equal to a plus 7 minus square root 4a squared minus 4a plus 1. So now we've got the absolute value on one side and the rest of the other equation on the other side. Now at this point with absolute value, you just split it into two equations, so I'm going to do that now. So the first equation would be a plus 4 where you make this positive. So a plus 4 is equal to a plus 7 minus square root 4a squared minus 4a plus 1. And then the other equation would be minus a minus 4, because we're making this bit negative, is equal to a plus 7 minus square root 4a squared minus 4a plus 1. So now we have the two equations. Let's start off with this equation here. So let me just erase everything and move this sorry for that. So what I first did was I moved this over to this side since it's a negative and I want it to be positive, and then I moved this over to this side. So that ends up being square root 4a squared minus 4a plus 1 is equal to a minus a is non-existent, is 0a, so then you cancel it out, and 7 minus 4 is 3. So then this is what you get after that. Then you square both sides to get rid of the square root, because you don't want that. And then you get 4a squared minus 4a plus 1 is equal to 9. And as you can see, this is starting to look like a quadratic. And there you go. Now, as you can see, it is a quadratic. So we just plug in the formula. X equals negative b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. I'm not going to write that all out. I'm just going to immediately start subbing in. So this is the a value, this is the b value, and this is the c value. So let's start writing that in. X equals negative the b value, which is negative 4, plus or minus square root the b value squared, which is negative 4 squared. Okay, ignore my disgusting color. Minus 4, and the a value, which is 4. And then the c value, which is 8. Well, negative 8, sorry. And there you go. This is the top bit, then all over 2a. The a value is 4. So as you can see, we've subbed everything in, and then this ends up being x equals 4 plus minus square root 144 over 8. And as you can see, the square root of 144 is a rational number, which is very nice. So then you end up getting x equals 4 plus minus 12 over 8, and that ends up being x is equal to, let me just color coded this as well. So 4 plus 12 is 16 over 8 is 2. So x is equal to 2, or x is equal to 4 minus 12 is negative 8 over 8, which is negative 1. I mean, not negative 8, my bad, is equal to negative 1. So there you go. We've got two answers so far, but we still got to try out the negative version. So let me just move this up. There you go. And let's start calculating this one. So for this one, I did the exact same thing where I moved this over to this side and this over to this side, and then I ended up getting square root 4a squared minus 4a plus 1 is equal to... Oh, also, by the way, I started using x instead of a by mistake, so just pretend that this is all a, this is a, yeah, because we're solving for a, not x, and I keep forgetting that. Anyways, so negative a, so then you add a, so that becomes 2a, and then 7 plus 4 is 11, so 2a plus 11, then you square both sides, which then becomes 4a squared minus 4a plus 1 is equal to, this squared would be 4a squared plus 22 plus 22 is plus 44a plus 121. Then, as you can see, you've just got two sides with the exact same variables, and then these two cancel out each other, because if you minus 4a squared from both sides, then they disappear. Then if you add 4a on both sides, then you get 0 is equal to 48a, sorry, I'm explaining this terribly, plus 120, and that's because and then as you can see, a is equal to 120 over 48, which is equal to negative 2,5. Oh yeah, my bad. It's negative 120 over 48, because you bring this over to the sides and it'll become minus. So now this could be the third answer, so that means a could also equal to negative 2,5. So now we're going to test all of these, so let me just erase everything. Okay, so let's first try out 2. So let's just sub it into the equation, and you get square root 4 times 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 1 plus the absolute value of 2 plus 4 is equal to 2 plus 7. Now let's test this out. So it would be square root 2 squared is 4, 4 times 4 is 16, minus 8 plus 1 plus 6 is equal to 9. Now let's just figure out what this is. 16 minus 8 is 8, plus 1 is 9, square root 9 is 3, 3 plus 9 is 9. So 9 is equal to 9, which means that 2 is an answer. So we can tick this one off, alright, valid. Now we move on to the second one. So I color-coded this blue. So let's sub this into the equation. 4 negative 1 squared minus 4 minus 1 plus 1 plus negative 1 plus 4 is equal to negative 1 plus 7. So this ends up being 4 times 1, which is 4 plus 4 plus 1 plus this would be 3, and the absolute value of 3 is 3, is equal to 6. And then 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9, square root 9 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, then 6 is equal to 6, which means that this is valid. So we have two answers. Now this one is where it gets funny. I don't exactly know why this happens, because I thought that all of them had to be correct, but this one is actually, I can tell you now, it's invalid. If you want to see why, I'll show it to you now. But alright, I had to make space for this one because it wasn't working earlier. But let's just try it out. So it would be 4 times negative 2,5 squared minus 4 times negative 2,5 plus 1 plus the absolute value of negative 2,5 plus, what is it, 4 is equal to negative 2,5 plus 7. So now this ends up being square root of, funnily enough, these actually end up being like proper values, but it ends up being 25, yeah. So 4 times negative 2,5 squared ends up being 25. Then this ends up being 10, and then this ends up being 1. Add the absolute value of 1,5 is equal to 4,5. So this is what you end up getting. 25 plus 10 is 35, plus 1 is 36, and we know that the square root of 36 is 6. So 6 plus 1,5 is equal to 4,5. And as you can see, this is where it's wrong, because 7,5 is not equal So 4 comma 5, which means that this is indeed invalid. So there are your answers. The answers are x is equal to 2 or x is equal to -1. This answers the question that we've all definitely been wondering, not just me. And now you know the answer. So yippee, yoo-hoo, yay, yippee, woohoo, yay, fabulous, beautiful. Hope you enjoyed watching. I hope this answered the question. Yeah. Make sure to like and subscribe.